Hello all, welcome back to 100x Commerce, your commerce lecturer Sneha this side, and today I'll be taking you through the 4-marker important question. So this video will be coming in two parts, part 1 and part 2. So the first part of your textbook till the functions of management, that is starting with your principles of management till controlling, all these chapters are being covered in the part 1 video, and the remaining chapters will be covering in the part 2 video. So you all already know in the section C, that is the third section of your question paper, will be consisting of a 4-marker questions, right? So now, here totally 10 questions will be asked. So from the exam point of view, we will be getting totally how many questions? We will be getting totally 10 questions. So now out of 10 questions, you have to attempt any 6. It means you have a choice here, right? 40% choice you are getting. So all the chapters are not important. So you can completely prepare accordingly. Next, how much to write in order to get full marks? That is the biggest question of all the students. So minimum you have to write 1.5 pages. That will be amounting to 10 to 12 sentences. Yeah, so when I mean sentences, it is not lines. I think you people are understanding. Sentences will be a lengthier version of your lines. So minimum you have to answer in 10 to 12 sentences each. Yeah. Next question will be like you are getting minimum 2 HOTS questions. Yes. High order thinking skill questions, your case study based questions. So one question will be coming from your business environment chapter or staffing chapter or controlling chapter. So out of this, any one HOTS questions, like any 2 hot questions will be asked. So minimum you have to write 4 points along with explanation of each point. Yeah, so no need to write introduction and conclusion. That is not compulsory for a 4-marker questions, but minimum 4 points along with the proper explanation should be compulsorily written in order to get 4 out of 4. Then, so you have to wisely pick any 6 chapter for your preparation. So it's not necessary to study all the 10 chapters and attempt all the 10 questions. You can wisely pick any 6 chapters according to your own interest. You can make a different combination of chapters. Say for example, now if I give an example, the concept of your business environment. Okay, from business environment we will be getting 2 questions, and from marketing chapter also same, we are getting 2 questions. So out of 6, 4 questions are coming from here itself. So in this way, wisely you can pick the chapters according to your own interest, and you can thoroughly prepare for your upcoming preparatory and as well as your final exams. So let's not delay and start for the day with the most important question, chapter wise. So which all chapters are covered from the part 1? Yeah, so as we see your textbook, we have 2 parts, right? Part 1 and part 2. So part 1 is all about the management related concepts. So basically you are going to get the questions from these chapters, that is your second chapter, principles of management you have, and business environment. As I told, business environment is very very important because 2 questions will be asked from the same chapter. Yes, so which questions I will definitely tell you in the upcoming session now. Next, from the planning chapter again, so from the planning chapter you will be getting 4-marker question, staffing and controlling. So these are the very very important chapters I can tell. So from part 1, 3rd chapter has more weightage, that is 2 4-marker questions will be asked. Next, so moving on to the next part now. Okay, the first chapter, that is the 4-marker first chapter, principles of management. So the question here tells us what? Explain the principles of management given by F.W. Taylor. So already we know, right? So whenever we hear the name of F.W. Taylor, what does come into our mind? Scientific management, right? He is known as a father of scientific management. So he has given some principles for us. So what are those principles? Science, not a rule of thumb. So the concept of management is something related to science, he has told. Then harmony, not discord. It means in the working environment where we apply the principles of management should be filled with happiness and harmony and peacefulness, not any kind of a misunderstandings. Next, cooperation, not individualism, which means there should be a proper mutual understanding between the employees, proper cooperation is required. So every employee has to work as a team, not as an individual person, and he also should make sure that there is a team spirit. Yeah, everyone thinking capacity, thinking ability has to compulsorily meet the overall objective of the company. Next one will be development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency and prosperity. So basically F.W. Taylor concentrated on employee development. So every person who is working has to be developed to the greatest extent. Yeah, that was the main key of the scientific principles of management. Next, what are the 4 aspects of work study or techniques of scientific management? Okay, so now techniques in scientific management is different and the previous concept that we learnt. Yeah, so the previous one was your principles of scientific management are given by F.W. Taylor. These are both other different things over here. So now, which are the 4 techniques given by F.W. Taylor or in the scientific management is, one is time study. So every work in the management is related to time. Yeah, they will have a specified time. According to the time only the particular things has to be completed. Next one is motion study. So what do you mean by motion here? So motion is nothing but movement. Yes, so movement of goods, movement of men, movement of material from one place to another place. So all this will be put up together in the motion study. So according to this study, it tells us that unnecessary movement of men, materials or machines has to be avoided in order to increase the overall productivity. Next one is what? Next one basically tells about fatigue study. So what is this fatigue study? So fatigue study is something related to the employees' physical aspects, we can tell. So without any break, without taking any kind of a break, if the person starts working continuously, he starts feeling tired. Yeah, he starts feeling that fatigueness. So that has to be avoided. So for this sake, F.W. Taylor made a rule that a regular interval of break has to be given. Yeah, like some short breaks, lunch break or some refreshment break has to be given so that he feels motivated, he feels energizes and he will be working for longer hours and his motivation also increases. The next one will be what? Method study. So what is this method study? So as we know, method is nothing but something that we usually follow. Yeah, particular methodology I can tell. So now various methods are there. So which is the most easiest method or which is the more efficient and effective method? That has to be considered at the workplace. Okay, so this was given by the F.W. Taylor. So coming to the next one, explain any 8 principles given by Henry Fayol. So Henry Fayol also has given 14 principles of management. He is known as a father of modern management or administration management. So according to him, he has totally given us 14 principles of management, but you are going to explain any 8. Yeah, so starting with any of the things you can start explaining, like we have unity of command, unity of direction, order, scalar chain, division of work, equity, then esprit de corps, okay, then stability of tenure, remuneration to employees. So any of these 8 points you can explain it properly. Yeah, so now moving on to the next question, that is the next chapter I can tell you, that is business environment chapter. So from this, one hot question will be coming, one question will be the normal and the direct question. So see here, the question is, explain the characteristics or nature of business environment. Characteristics, features, nature, all these are same. So please don't get confused in the exam if they asked. So characteristics ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಒಂದೇ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸಲ ನೇಚರ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಾನೂ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಇದೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಒಂದೇ, ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಒಂದೇ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳೋ ರೀತಿ ಬೇರೆ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನು ಬರೀತಿರಲ್ಲ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಒಂದೇ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಇದರದು totality of external forces. So as we know, business environment is being exposed to different external forces. So business environmental concept itself is a totality of all the external factors that are there, and out of these forces or out of these factors, some are specific and some are general. Specific ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು specific ಆಗಿದೆ. Say for example, now suppliers, customers, all these are specific in nature. General forces will be your political system, economic system, etc. Then all the concepts are relative in nature. Every concept is directly or indirectly dependent on each other, or there is a interrelatedness between these: political, economical, technological, social. Yes, next. And all these concepts are not easy to understand, they are very, very complex. Yeah. Then dynamic in nature. Dynamic means what? It is completely flexible concept, we can tell, which keeps on changing according to the changes that is happening in the outside world or outside environment. So this is very, very important question for your 4 markers from this chapter. Like in the model question paper also this has been come. Next we have a hot question, so let's see it. Karnataka state government has banned the use of artificial colors in the preparation of food. Identify the dimension of business environment from the above statement and write a note on it. Okay, so this is something related to the health of the society, right? So earlier a lot of food colors were used, especially by the street vendors. So now it is being completely banned. That is, the Health and the Food Department of Karnataka has taken an initiative to ban this. Why? Because keeping in the mind about the health of the people of our state. So this is something related to which concept here, which environment here? This is related to your social environment. Correct? So now what we will do is we have to explain about the social environment. Yeah. Then, or this question can also be asked like this: show different elements of business environment that influence the success of an enterprise with the neat diagram. So already I think in the model question paper many number of times I have explained. Okay, so your favorite question it is, because very easy to draw and write it. Correct? So make a circle, divide it into 5, this thing, starting with your economic environment, then comes your technological environment, social environment, political environment, and legal environment. And also I have given you a short form to remember this by using the word pestle. So that's it, is the answer of this particular question. Or they can ask one more hot question, that is, they will be giving you certain sentences and you have to identify which business dimension, which environmental dimension they are speaking about. So the first thing here we can see, bank reduces interest rate on house loans. So this is related to what? This is something related to your economic environment. Right? Your repo rate, reverse repo rate, bank rate, fiscal policy, taxation system, all this is what? economic related factors. So it is a economic environment. Then number of working women is increasing. So earlier women was not allowed to go outside work and all of that because of gender inequality. But now the world has changed, the society has changed. So this one will be your social concept or the social environment. Right? Next, the C, the reservation of tickets by internet. Yeah, earlier we used to stand in a long queue, reserve the tickets. So now everything has been stopped. So for everything we are using the internet applications, etc. So this is definitely what? This is a technological development. It means it is a technological environment. Right? Next, prohibition of alcohol beverages to be advertised. Yeah. So this is something related to legal environment. So legally, ethically speaking about the prohibition of alcohol beverages, your cigarettes, all that should not be advertised on the TVs or any media according to the legal rules and regulations of the state and the central government. Yeah. So these kind of questions will be asked from the business environmental chapter. So basically you will be getting very easy questions. I mean, you can relate it to your day-to-day life scenario and answer them clearly and properly. Yeah. So coming with the next chapter now, planning chapter, easiest chapter I can tell you. Yeah. So they have asked us feature of planning, or sometimes, okay, they will ask this question this way also: explain the characteristics of planning. Both are one and the same. Characteristics and your features are one and the same. So as you know, when we speak about the functions of management, planning comes first, right? So planning is a primary function of management. Then planning is all pervasive. Yes, planning is present everywhere. Then planning is continuous in nature. It is not something which is going to have a break. It is a continuous thing. Next one is it involves decision making. Yeah. So in planning, basically it involves lot of decisions that the management will be taking. So these are the 4 easy points that you can actually explain. So this answer can be remembered in the most easiest form, that is 2P, C and D. Yeah. So 2P stands for your primary and pervasive, C stands for continuous and D stands for decision making. So this is a shortcut to remember the answer in a simple manner. Yes. And coming to the next question, now explain 4 limitations. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಲಿಮಿಟೇಷನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಬಿ ಆಸ್ಕ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ explain any 4 disadvantages of planning. Yes, or sometimes they ask, in spite of advantages of planning, planning has some negative aspect, explain that. So anything, the question can be asked in a multiple ways, but the answer remains the same. So what is the answer for that? Planning leads to rigidity. Yes, once something is being planned, it becomes very rigid in nature. It means you cannot change it. Yeah, planning involves huge cost. Planning is a very costly affair, because they have to hire people, they have to install certain extra machineries, and also definitely it requires a huge cost. It is a time consuming process. It is not that easy. Definitely it is going to take lot of time. Then planning will not guarantee any success. So there is no guarantee for the success as well. So these are the 4 points that you can remember easily and explain according to your convenience. So now the next question will be regarding the hot question, I can tell. That is explain this thing, that explain the steps involved in planning process. So or as a manager, what steps that you would follow. Okay, that is being asked in the question over here. So the first step is setting of objective. Yeah, so first thing is we should have a clear objective, like what we have to do, how we have to implement, who will be doing that particular thing, that particular idea should be there, so that once the aim is being set up, accordingly the work can be done easily. Next one is developing planning premises. So planning premises in the sense making certain assumptions for building the proper plan. Yeah, so it is all about the future assumptions made by the company in order to turn the plan into reality. Yeah, next one is identification of alternative courses of action. So now once the manager set ups everything, he plans, he set ups the objective, he starts thinking about the futuristic aspect, everything is over. Next thing, he will start preparing certain plan. Okay, so out of these, he will be selecting the best one. So that is selection of the best alternative or identifying the best alternative. The first of all, evaluating each and every course of action. Yes, evaluation is very important because every course of plan has to be evaluated properly, then only we will get to know which is the best one. So that is evaluation. Next one will be the selection. So the best one will be selected. Say for example now, D is both effective, efficient. So they will go for that. Yeah. So this will be the steps. And next step comes is implementing the plan, and last step will be the follow up of the action. So once the plan is being selected, it has to be implemented. After that, the follow up will be happening. Yes. Coming to the next chapter now. Yeah, so we are on the staffing chapter. So in the staffing chapter, which question can be asked? Explain any 4 tests that is used for selection process of the employees. Or this question can be asked as a hot question also. So you have to imagine yourself as a HR manager and explain any 4 tests that is used to select the employees for your company. So you can write any 4. So you can write aptitude test, proficiency test, trade test, and your intelligent test. Okay, so any of these 4 you can write. So I would suggest you to write this because it is easy to remember. APIT. So A stands for aptitude test, P stands for proficiency test, T stands for trade test, and I stands for intelligent test. So these are the things that you have to mention and explain in the given answer. Okay, so quickly we'll go to the next question now. So as a human resource manager, list out any 8 external sources of recruitment. Yeah, so advertising, campus interview, advertise on TV or magazines, employee referral, employment exchange, casual callers, contract labors, websites. So any of these points, any 8 you can explain according to your convenience. Okay, next one. Explain about the internal sources of recruitment. So there are chances that this question might come. Briefly explain about the internal sources they might ask, or they will ask like write a note on internal source of recruitment. So we have only 2. Yeah, right, transfer and promotion. So short form TP, transfer and promotion. So transfer certain points you have to write and explain, promotion certain points you have to write and explain it clearly. Yeah, next. So the next chapter, the last chapter of the first part, I can tell, that is what? Controlling chapter. So basically this question is regarding importance of controlling, correct? Or sometimes this question can be asked as a case study question also. That is, a good control system can help the organization in many ways. Explain. Or a good control system is helpful for the organization to achieve the said objective. Explain. Or direct question will be asked like explain any 4 importance of controlling. So first of all, it helps in achieving the organizational goal. So as I told, every organization has a certain objectives, right? To achieve those objectives, definitely this will be very helpful. Yeah, next. It will help in judging the accuracy of the standard that is being set up. Yeah, so controlling is about what? Checking whether the said work is done according to the standard that has been set up or no. So to judge that accuracy, this concept of controlling will be definitely helping. Next one will be, it make use of the efficient use of resources. Yes, so there is a maximum utilization of resources because of the concept of controlling. Next will be, your employee motivation also will improve. Yeah, so these are the points of the controlling. Next one, explain the limitations of controlling. So this question can also be asked as explain disadvantages. So any 4 points you can actually write here and explain. Disadvantages and limitations are one and the same. So basically controlling is a very costly affair because they have to hire expertise people or they have to get a costly device. So all that procedure is involved. So definitely it is a costly affair and it is not applicable or not acceptable by the small businesses because obviously they cannot afford for the cost. Next one will be, there is lot of difficulty in setting quantitative standards. Quantitative standards means what? Which can be measured in terms of numbers. Okay, so it is very difficult to set up the numbers. This much only has to be done, or this much particular production or number of units of production only should be done. It is actually very difficult to define. Next, little control on external factors. See, as we already know, the business environmental factors, it might be your economic environment, political, legal, social, technological. These all are what? These are the external factors. And this actually cannot be controlled by any businessman. So these are again out of control. And resistance from employees. So sometimes employees will not be that comfortable if they impose too much of controlling concept in the workplace. Yeah, so there is some kind of a resistance from them or they feel hesitated. So that kind of problems also will be arising. Yeah, then moving on to the next one, explain the steps involved in controlling process or controlling. Or this question also can be asked as a hot question. Imagine yourself as a manager and what steps would you like to take in the controlling process. So now when they have clearly defined it as steps, so please write it in stepwise only. Yeah, so in order to remember that word, I have a shortcut for you, that is SMCAT. Yeah, okay, SMCAT or SMCAT you can remember. So the first step tells us about setting of the performance standard. Yeah, anything it might be. First thing, as a manager, he has to set a particular standard according to the performance of the people. Yeah, performance standard has to be set. What is standard now? It is a benchmark. Yeah, so that benchmark has to be set. Then after that, they have to measure the actual performance with the standard that is being set. Yeah, measurement. After measuring, they have to compare. Like what is the actual performance, what is the standard that is being set up. Say for example now, if the standard that was set was 10 units per day and the actual output has come only as 8 units per day, it means what? There is a deviation. Deviation means what? Differences. Correct. By how many units there is a difference? By 2 units there is a differentiation. So why this deviation has happened? Why this difference has come? That has to be analyzed. What problem has arisen in the workplace? That has to be analyzed. That is analyzing the deviation. After that, the last step will be taking corrective action or corrective steps. So now we got to know there is a deviation. So how to correct this? Some techniques we have to use. Like we have to evaluate why this difference has come. Whether it is labor related problem, machinery related problem, or the quality of raw material was not good. So in this way, the deviations has to be analyzed, and in the next batch the manager should make sure that he has taken a corrective action in order to correct, so that your standard and the actual will be same. So in this way the steps will be carried out. So this has to be compulsory explained in the stepwise only. So don't write it in the jumble form. So it will not look like a proper answer and you may lose marks over here. So in order to avoid that, you can just use this word and remember the whole answer. Yeah. So that's it for the part 1 important questions. So we have discussed first part of your textbook, almost all the important question of 4 markers, and part 2, that is your financial management, marketing and consumer protection. These chapters 4 marker question and answers will be coming in our part 2. So thank you for watching us. So all the best for your exams. Any materials that are needed, please do reach out us and we are always there to help you. Thank you.